I'm live. Let's see what happens. If somebody says something in the chat, I'll respond to it. Hopefully. Maybe. Um, so, now what I'm going to be talking about today, as you can tell by the title, is going to be something of the past. So, it is going to involve some details. Keyword for this is details, which are not related to now. These things happened in the past. These things occurred several years ago. I think 5 to 6 years ago. Let me see. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 to 8 years ago. So 2015, August 2015 to 2016. Now, this was before I knew about astrology, before I got into astrology. Um, let me count the years. One, two, three. Let me see. One, two, three, 4. 3 to 4 years before I really got myself introduced to astrology in 2019, with a little prerequisite in 2018. And I wanted to talk about this because it's just something that intrigued me. And I have a video going over a reaction video talking about this video, I think, how Jupiter affects your luck. And I believe I made that video, and I can remember in that video, I heard so many positive things in a synopsis and an overview for every other Jupiter placement except for that one, except for my placement, Jupiter in the sign of Virgo. And I have a video on Jupiter in Virgo, um, that you can watch separately. And I might talk about a lot of those themes today with that. But I found it interesting that that there were a couple astrologers that I saw who looked at the negative details of Jupiter and Virgo, that it can be overcritical, picky, too focused in the details, overindulgence in negative self-talk. That's what I heard from uh, um, co- um, the channel Cosmic Arts Astro Services, video on that. And also, just seeing it, it is not unified, because I heard several astrologers talking about it, and oh, it's such oh, you know, what a positive thing this is, talking about all the positive traits about Jupiter's expansion and wisdom. It's all about service and health and healing and all those things. And yet, those astrologers, and I'm not entirely sure about all of them, but they did not, but they who said so many wonderful things about this placement. Um, Apparently, it's detriment because um, Virgo square to Sagittarius, which Jupiter rules, which is very big pictured, broad, philosophical, expansive, and Virgo is detailed, grudging in the detail. Um, but so those astrologers, couple of them, that said all positive things about us, nothing negative whatsoever. After all, Jupiter is the planet of fun and positivity, and that feeling that you get after you have a meal with your family on Thanksgiving, or opening up the gifts around the Christmas tree. And apparently for Virgo, it would be cleaning and organization structure. And I was also hearing this other person, so about uh, three people, three astrologers were saying negative things about it. And I think three astrologers, three to four astrologers, maybe more, said positive things about this. No negative whatsoever. And I found that intriguing. I found that very interesting. Um, because apparently it is detrimental in that place. And those people who spoke so positively were really, um, you know, they talked very well about the nodes and where the nodes are at. And I've been very, very interested in Jupiter and Virgo, number one, and then the nodes of where they are now. So the South Node and the North Node. I've been very, very interested in that lately, especially the South Node. Um, you know, Dharma, where you're coming from, and that emotional memory. I was watching this Sydney as School, his YouTube channel, and he described it as an emotion memory, and he described the nodes. And I want to maybe mention this is that the nodes, like if you think about the South Node, it's all those negative things that, all the negative experiences that need to be healed. The North Node is what can heal those things. So for me, it would be in the present moment, in the body, connected with the earth and the senses, where the nodes are now, which are so incredibly huge. Saying a lot about Scorpio, it's very understood that it is very can give your power away, and Taurus is about taking your power back and what do you value. And but the guy who made that video was the first official person that I've ever saw video on about the South Node Scorpio or North Node Taurus. Had a very, very positive approach that had not a single pinch of uh, anything dictatorial, anything like you must do this. Instead, you're going to want to move to the North Node. It doesn't say, oh, past habits that you keep going back and back on. Oh, but you need to move to the North Node. He described it as what makes you feel better going to the North Node. All that stuff, all that karma that from your past lives, all the trauma and the drama healed through um, Taurus, for instance. Um, 'Cause Scorpio is all about those wounds and those things that need to be healed, and all that karma and all those types of things. And Virgo is about healing in a very, very earthy way. And I talked about the Pisces Virgo polarity, about how earthy it is with the details and the systems that work, and the the herbal healings, and those types of things. And the nodes were in Taurus and Scorpio. South Node was in Scorpio, North Node in Taurus, and Jupiter in the sign Virgo in 2003 and 2004. I, and I don't believe in bad placements. I don't believe that one Jupiter placement, for example, is less lucky than others. They just get their luck in different ways, experience it in different ways. It's not less or more. It's different but equal. See, my hands are moving different places, but you see, it's at the same level, not like this, but like this. So it's just it's not, I don't know if centralized is the right word to say that it is a negative um, placement, a bad placement, because I didn't believe in bad placements. And I was saying on the video that, astrologer should not, you know, say negative things about a placement if one person has it and they can't change it. So I'm very, very interested, uh, especially because it is my personal Jupiter placement. Um, and so it is my placement, and it was in Virgo, 2003, 2004, and then in August 2015, Jupiter moved into the sign of Virgo. Then it went retrograde sometime later, and then in 2016, in September, it moved into Libra, and that is one of the places that I wish I had. But I wish. I am proud and I am happy and I am excited to tell you this. I'm excited to share my Jupiter placement because it's like its expansion. It's big. Jupiter magnifies everything. So let's magnify um, these Virgo themes. And Jupiter right now is in Pisces, which is the opposite sign to Virgo. So I think that maybe now is an appropriate enough time to talk about it. Um, but so one of the things I found very intriguing as I was seeing this video with Guy, astrologer, who I have linked, was talking about it and very, very negative, where, it's not the easiest of positions, and Jupiter went retrograde in the sign, and how you were so caught up in the little details, that, not seeing the big picture. I'm interested what is not black and white. I'm interested in the complexities of these types of things. Of what went on, and I was actually just going on to just look at Jupiter retrograde in Virgo, and so the video came up and apparently related to that certain time, and so just um, hooked me, and I became interested. So, you know, brainstorming, putting your thinking cap on and going back to that time in your life, going back to August of 2015 all the way up until September 2016. What was going on in your life at that point? Well, I mean, I was done with um, elementary, was moving into middle school. Six. Number six is, Virgo is the sixth sign of the zodiac. Um, I know that Colette Baron Reed was really, and that was when the Wisdom of the Oracle deck was about to get published, and it was published during when Jupiter was in Virgo, which is dealing with, because she wanted to provide a very functional way of teaching people through this particular Oracle deck, Virgo. Functional. A lot of things functional, practical. I want this productivity. I want this to mean something. You know, how practical is it? Um, I don't know the word for um, applicable. So it's very applicable because it related to various areas in your life, um, like relationships and um, prosperity or work, and even work relationships with that. Um, and another thing I want to mention before I get into what I think this means is, and I did a video on this. Um, so glad that I did a video on this. Is that I was watching another video on this particular placement of Jupiter, exchange, and fortune. and it was by it was a video that I was watching, and one of the things that intrigued me was she made the video and she was like, "Now, Jupiter is at its detriment, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about it." Like, kind of pushing it off. Don't worry about. Well, okay. Well, if you mention it, I want to know more about this. And I want to see both sides. I want to see, where can really, really just get the full expression of this placement, the positives and the negatives. And then we see both sides, and we're taking the negatives and putting it with the positives. I was intrigued. I wanted to hear more about how it was detrimental to Jupiter. And I mean, the obvious answer is, well, I just explained it's Virgo, the sign of perfectionism, all those things. But that's pretty clear and obvious. I'm looking for something more complex, more detailed, which is a very, very prominent theme of Virgo. So, what if I were to make a little iMovie trailer over this, and I would talk about how this would be such a great opportunity to think about and consider the hot button issues of what is wrong with our Earth. Jupiter and Virgo is kind of similar to Uranus and Taurus because Uranus, planet of awakening, change, innovation, technology, is in Taurus. Well, the economy, I just want to address that. Our food, the land, all those things. So there are similarities with this. Uranus is in Taurus right now, lasting for a longer time. And really, really think about the foods that we're putting in our bodies and how healthy and how, what do we value and how do we want to simplify things, making things more um, meaningful, nourishing. And with Jupiter expansion, there's definitely more just farming as would have been a wonderful industry uh, to be in. Um, a cleaning job would have been really, really wonderful. Taking care of a pet, or looking after something or somebody, or getting a new house, those renovations, those changes would have been wonderful for the time years ago when I sounded very different and I looked different. Um, so, uh, trying to think of just anything else. So it's health. It is healing. We can really, really look after the earth because, with all these things that we're doing with the, fossil fuels and mining and, I mean, so many things, it can really, really be the opportunity to think about the new earth that we're moving into and how we take care of our health, how we take care of our well-being and our um, bodies, and what supplements are we taking, what are our habits, how are we keeping bodily healthy, what is wrong with our lives that really, really needs fixing and cleaning up because it's cleaning its organization. Where do we need to, the positive side of this is just get, see, they say see the forest for the trees, but trees do make the forest. So it's time to um, analyze those trees as opposed to, analysis paralysis, but, analysis of those things, to really look into them and change them, heal them, and also service, because Virgo is very humble, humility. There could have been a lot of people who decided I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to create these new habits. Um, get outside, um, get out in nature, connect with the earth, do something with your hands, do something physical like cooking and self-engaged, being productive. I know that when I can remember when Jupiter was in Virgo, I filmed a couple cooking videos, and I was also um, very focused upon getting outdoors at that time. Getting outdoors um, in the summer of 2016 when Jupiter was in the sign of Virgo. And I may have been particular about things, but I didn't really know anything about that. And um, I guess I may have been conscious of uh, health, such as dental health, and also how much fresh air outside that I was getting. Because I really, really want to bring about and loosen up those hand drippings, um, if you will, when it comes to just what I can remember at that time and the very, very early thing that I was doing. It could also be improvements of how you speak, of how you're talking. Am I communicating clearly? Am I using the right words? Am I expressing myself? I think that for me personally, without getting into the details of that, that was something that was a issue, that was a area at that time, especially. So real change in an outlook of um, where my life was going and how that that time was a breath of fresh air, that change, feeling more grounded, feeling better, um, less under pressure. That may have been something that may have been just coincidence or something wonderful that might have come out of. So Uranus and Taurus. Uranus and Jupiter are very, very related. But Uranus and Taurus is basically very, very similar to Jupiter and Virgo, yet it has been lasting for a long time. Ever since I think it's May 16th, 2018, Uranus moved into the sign of Taurus. And it's there, and it will stay there for several more years until Uranus moves into the buzzy, airy, chatty, mental sign of Gemini. And we have a lot of air and fire energy with Neptune's going to be moving into Aries, Uranus and Gemini. Um, and Pluto the generation's going to change. It's going to move into Aquarius. So how are we coming together? How are we collaborating? Communities are, you know, um, just technologies now we're going to be using. I'm very, very interested in that as well. And also the moon in Aquarius. I'm very interested in moon in Aquarius because moon is all about your emotions, and Aquarius is very uh, detached, very mental, very intellectual. So I find that very, very interesting. Um, and I find that Jupiter placement very interesting as well. Um, so there's several things with this, which I'm probably not going to get into all of it. However, I'm going to read to you his page off of this website. And I'm saying this right now that I'm no longer going to be doing weekly astrological forecasts. Um, I just decided it's just no, it's not going to work out. So anyway, um, so it says the dates: August 11th through September 9th. So August 11, 2015 through September 9th, 2016, as opposed to now where it's like it it's 3 chapters. So in May of last year, for example, Jupiter moved into Pisces, and it gave us a little taster of the flooding of the intuition of the real spiritual energy going on with that. And then it in July 29th, it went retrograde back through Aquarius and it backtracked. And then it entered on December 29th, 2021, and entered Pisces, 0 degrees. And it's now in Pisces. It's speeding through the sign. And then in May, it's going to move into Aries, May 10th through 11th, I think. It's going to move into Aries. Great time for establishing new beginnings, fresh starts to things, initiating things, really, really going after your goals and ambitions with Aries. It's a motivated fire energy, cardinal fire. Take the lead of your life. Um, it's really going to be huge for that. And then it's going to, I think in July, it's going to then no, in October, I think, actually. Um, I believe so. It's going to retrograde back through Pisces. And then in December, mid December of 2022, this year, it's going to move into Aries. It might do the same. But so at the time, it was different. So it moved into Virgo in August of 1 year, and it stayed there all the way through until September 2016. That is a school year and more, and that's another thing I was hearing from this person that I was watching who mentioned the detriment. But I think that if you're going to mention that, I want to know more about that because I'm curious about that. Um, but anyway, uh, but anyway, um, it's really a balancing between both. So anyway, because I want to know about both. Now, especially if it's my placement, even though with a different time, different years ahead of mine when I was born. But uh, anyway, it's an entire school year, so maybe a lot of students were very, had sharpened pencils and were very attentive. They were very focused. They wanted to get things right. They wanted to check things over to make sure things were right. If they were doing math problems, for example, they probably really applied themselves to that and really, really looked at the details, getting it exactly right, asking any question if they were struggling with anything, um, all those types of things. Really, um, healthy choices were probably made. I know, um, you know, healthy. At that time, I was really looking at the lunches that I was eating, and my tastes were changing at that time. And I know that when Jupiter was in Virgo, I think literacy, reading, comprehension, information, um, yet another functional detail, right? That was really getting stressed at the time, I think. And another thing is math as well. There were certainly some very important matters that had to be addressed with math and in that functional class um, as well. So anyway, um, so Jupiter and Pisces, opposite Jupiter and Virgo, the dream, the vision, anything is possible, infinite possibility, but Virgo grounds it. Virgo roots it in, wants to, get it done, focuses it. We want to make this practical. We want to achieve this. Where are we going to get results? Reap the reward from this. How are we going to make this manifest? Things I talked about in the live stream on Saturday, just a couple days ago on the 19th, where I did a live stream on Pisces Virgo axis. So, Jupiter's effects are to expand our experiences. I'm reading this, or also our knowledge, because Jupiter is higher learning, it's higher education, it's gaining wisdom. It is, really the sage, if you know what I mean. It's the teacher, really teaching us to focus on the details. There's a card from the Enchanted Map Oracle, which was out by August 11th of 2015. It's all about details, details. Focus on those details. And I mean, there's so many areas, there's so many details that you could look at, but I want to be general about it. So, Jupiter represents, experiences, knowledge, and understanding. Jupiter represents optimism, growth, generosity, joy, and abundance. Uh, So it says, all these are very Jupiter themed. It's filled with gas. It's huge. It's expansive. It wants to expand. All those types of things. It's very jovial. So I have a video on Jupiter in addition to all of the other planets that I did. A couple of videos actually divided into two parts, which you can check out on my channel. So in Aries, Jupiter encouraged us to make our own opportunities, to believe in ourselves, and to take charge of our lives. In Taurus, Jupiter urged us to enjoy and appreciate. I have really like that it's going through each sign. Appreciate what we already have, our values, material values, and to adopt a patient approach to achieving our goals. Nothing happens overnight. Slow and steady wins the race. In Gemini, Jupiter encouraged us to learn as much as we could about the people around us. And I'm so interested in things that are complex because it's not the same, really, for, some astrologers, they say this about it. Some astrologers look about it this way. So, anyway, looking at the people around us, um, connecting with them, sharing with them. In Cancer, in 2014, when Jupiter was in Cancer, um, motivated us to honor our intuition, emotions, families, and inner needs, and to build our support systems. In Leo, Jupiter encouraged us to express ourselves confidently, be generous and creative, and to find ways to enjoy ourselves. Now, let's talk about this. This is getting to the meat of this live stream because I really, really want to make this have a lot of information in it, not just me sharing my personal things about what I know, about what I think, of what I can gather, about what I feel about this placement. And, I'm honestly very, very excited for the next time Jupiter would enter Virgo, because of this awareness of this. Probably 2027, 2028, Jupiter will be in Virgo, probably in those years. I think doing the math, if you think about Jupiter moves through a sign like in a year's time, definitely. Um, so Virgo's an earth sign. Virgo is mutable earth. Very, very high strung. A lot of details to take care of. They really, really, um, a lot of this sort of energy, like I have to do this, there's so many things to do. Oh, that's not right. I mean, it's like this sort of, you know, hyper sort of energy. Um, so the Earth sign Jupiter, we are practical realists who need to visualize results in order to feel motivated to achieve them. Habits. We are doers who are not easily lured to get rich quick schemes. It's about doing, it's about what you're putting in, about, the doing, about, checking things off your list, accomplishing what are the steps I need to achieve this. So during the cycle, we are not risk takers. We need direction, clear goals, and strong plans. And we value tangible results. More specifically, with this placement, we attract the most good fortune when we are helpful, honest, practical, orderly, and when we dot the I's, dot our T's, um, dot our I's, cross the T's, whatever that saying is, we attract the most good fortune when we are helpful, honest, practical, orderly, and when we pay more attention to details. Um, yeah. So we can really grow and expand through these things. And I don't want to explain and reiterate this. So the service industries, nutrition, and health are particularly prosperous avenues during this cycle. Taking care of our daily lives, routines, work, and health contribute to our sense of fulfillment and attract success. So major gains in these industries. As I said, farming, companies that make fresh fruits, um, and fresh fruits and other types of foods as well. Mental health as well as physical health, medical arenas, um, such as how we're looking after our skin, physical therapy as well. Gyms are very operative during this time as people work out and exercise. A lot of those like pharmacy type places, which have a lot of medicational type things. I mean, there's so many things here with this. So why am I so interested in this? Why, well, I don't know. Um, so taking care of our daily lives, routines, work, and health contribute to our sense of fulfillment and attract success. During this cycle, we place strong emphasis and value on developing our skills and expanding our knowledge, being of service and helping, um, assisting others, and improving our health. We see opportunities to grow and succeed through learning or fine tuning a craft, doing detailed work, planning and making lists for greater efficiency, being of assistance to others, and self improvement endeavors, like if you're working at Hy-Vee um, or Walmart, for example. Um, then those would definitely be places uh, related to Jupiter and Virgo as well. Writing as well, information, books about health, self help books. The self help writing industry. A lot of that would have increased during this time. People going to the library and checking out books to improve their lives. Really self improvement. Um, Huge things around this time. So, what needs cleaning up? What needs improving? So, we value quiet persistence, loyalty, intelligence, know how, service, integrity, commitment, common sense, practicality, duty, timelessness, um, attention to detail and efficiency, usefulness. Virgo wants to be of service, wants to be of use, wants to be productive. So, Jupiter not only likes to expand, it likes to learn. So when Jupiter is paired with Virgo, we may be more interested in learning about nutrition, health, natural or environmentally green practices like going green or climate change, um, those types of things as well. So healthy habits and practical crafts like meditating, taking walks, running, all those types of things. So we may particularly enjoy developing a particular skill set or learning a subject or skill more thoroughly. There can be stronger desire to be to be productive, enjoy derived from things done. We might focus less on the goal and more on the process and find ourselves enjoying it. Can develop a large interest in natural health methods. Um, Natural health methods as well. So, new avenues for work or self expression through our skills and services might open, or we begin to see more opportunities for these things. People who have given up on finding suitable work or improving their health might now reconsider. This can be a wonderful time. Keywords wonderful time for fine tuning a project, such as a big idea that came to us during the Jupiter and Leo transit that now needs special attention and detailed work. Jupiter zeal can supersede moderation at times. It can expand the more negative qualities of the sign additionally, just as it can expand the positive traits. Too much of one thing is a negative thing. Its zeal and enthusiasm is often well intentioned, but it can blind us to our immediate moderate behavior. In Virgo, we may focus too much on the process and lack direction. We may be excessively critical, nitpicking, or bossy, and we could suffer from inattentive, um, inattention to spiritual needs and concerns, or too narrow a focus. The higher vibration of this, and all placements have their negative qualities and characteristics. There is no, one placement that's just so bad compared to others. Um, so that's what I really, really wanted to say. Um, so Jupiter is all about perspective. It isn't a detached, analytical, or detailed look at a given situation, but an overview of the big picture. With Jupiter, ideally, we are able to rise above pettiness, mundane concerns, inconveniences, and the like. Um, so Jupiter is how you find your joy, where it's in your chart, how you find your joy. Um, Expansion, how you can improve and expand your joy, how you can get more joy out of life. Need for new tools to develop these areas in life. In order to expand, we need to pursue our goals with confidence and optimism without going overboard. Um, So, oh yeah, this really goes in depth. Um, Jupiter was trine Pluto, Jupiter square Saturn, um, Jupiter opposite Neptune. So Neptune isn't was in Pisces. Jupiter, or Neptune is still in Pisces. Jupiter opposite Chiron. Jupiter quincunx Uranus, and that's a very interesting aspect. Uh, so, um, so yeah, it goes a little bit more into these types of things without going overboard. Said there. So it definitely takes us to links where we can find that. Um, so goes into the details of what went on during that time, and I listed a couple of them um, here. I'm trying to just see here. I'm just going to read this. So, wait a second. I just want to see because I don't want this to lay down a whole rabbit hole of um, just so many things. Let me just go and see. Please tell me that there is nothing. Okay. So I'm just going to read to you this little bit of information about the specific aspects going on at the time. Um, and then I will be done with this live stream. So, um, Jupiter's major aspects to during Jupiter being in Virgo, the transit of Virgo are mixed. Most notably, Jupiter forms a trine with Pluto, first in October 2015 and then again in March and June 2016. And Pluto, Capricorn is an Earth sign, Jupiter and Earth. Well, that would be perfect for that. New ventures, especially successful, but so can reviving projects already in progress. With this powerful aspect, there can be a stronger sense of confidence as well as increased ambition, um, or resourcefulness. We may be seeking opportunities where we previously saw obstacles, and there can be more depth and power in our pursuits. While Jupiter first squares Saturn in early August, while Jupiter's still in Leo, Jupiter is in Virgo for the March and May 2016 predictions. Jupiter Saturn square. Da, 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 da. Um, um, this aspect presents a challenge and can be a reality check of sorts. This can be a time where Saturn is laying down the law, forcing us to constrict things a little after a period of expansion and reminding us of our limits. This is not a time to take shortcuts. That won't work. Uh, it is best to breathe new life into old plans rather than to strike out with a new plan altogether. Take steps to grow, but don't overextend yourself at this time, or you are bound to face frustration. So, it would not have been a time to bite off more than you can chew. Um, there might be limitations at this time. Um, it might have been those types of things. Who knows? But Jupiter opposite Neptune, um, it happened in mid-September. Routine seems to be particularly unsatisfying. Taking a detour from a practical path. Um, Very disillusioned, things not being what they seem. Um, very spiritual as well. So, for business and career, for this placement, greater success in your career or business. Be timely, efficient, responsible, conscientious, and loyal to your professional dealings. Show your know-how and highlight your showcase your attention to detail. Give more helpful information and also helping others, giving more helpful information, recommend this book or do this type of thing. Call attention to the environment in career, invest in your ability to assist, serve and support, and fine-tune your skills. Natural health and healing products can be in stronger focus. Um, And then in relationships, for greater success in love and relationships, while Jupiter transits Virgo, showcase your loyal, responsible, helpful, supportive, and conscientious traits. We need to value the less flashy traits and personalities during the cycle. So helping somebody out with, if there's anything wrong, improving them, this would not be time to just brush those important things under the rug. It would be time to address those matters in relationship as well. Um, so I thought that I would come on and talk about this live stream. Please like this, share this, subscribe to my channel, and hit the little bell so that you can see when upcoming videos are published. Thank you for tuning in. Bye for now.